Here we go. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Guided by Spirit. I am your host, Richard LaRocco, with my amazing co-host, Miss Pauline Raffaella. How you doing, Pauline?
Richard, I am navigating the energies and doing very well, I think. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm getting there. A lot of people ask, healing body, mind, and spirit. Um, have been taking some spiritual maintenance, if you will,
I love it.
self-preservation, mindfulness. My teacher, Patricia, over my shoulder, the picture, she kind of drilled it into this thick head that I needed to, and I am. So this is good. I've been taking some time for me, resting my body, my mind, and my spirit. So I'm happy with that. How are you doing?
That's great news. I'm doing well. And before the show, you and I were talking about how, when you're seriously in the healing field, right? And as you are, as I am, uh, this can take a very big drain on you, no matter how proficient you are at what you do, no matter how much work you have done on yourself, it can drain you, and it would not be uncommon to say, I need a break. I need a break from it because I need to step out of other people's energies and just be within my own. And so I don't know if a lot of people understand that, people who are dying to be psychic medium like you or full-time healers like I am. You have to understand this can be a very draining undertaking, and sometimes you need time away.
Yeah, I don't think people realize everybody wants to do this, and people don't realize, like, I haven't had a vacation in 4 years. I've been doing this a long time, over 16, 17 years. Um, you sit with people's energy, you travel, you hear the worst of the worst that people are going through. They
Right.
unload on you. And it really does, even with a healthy spiritual practice and coping mechanisms and purifying and all of that. What I've gone through in the last year and then not feeling well really brought a lot to the surface that I needed to take time for me, heal me, get myself recharged, revitalized. A lot of self-care
Yeah.
has really been important. And I find I'm dealing with adrenal fatigue, which is my nervous system not handling that was so stressed out for so long that I'm having a hard time coping with my cortisol and it's my nervous system. I mean,
Right.
I do breath work and I do things to center and ground and take care of and heal, but your body's in this constant state of fight or flight. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time to say, it's okay, I can step away for a second and really take care of me and
Yeah.
love me and nurture me
Yeah.
like I do for others. The
Right.
healer needs healing.
Right, absolutely. And to get those adrenal glands back. I know what that feels like, to have adrenal fatigue and exhaustion, because that was, for me, that back in the late 1980s into the early 90s. That's when I was ill, and I had all kinds of problems: thyroid imbalances, adrenal fatigue, chronic bronchitis, low immune system, digestive. I couldn't sleep. So it was all the trauma of what I had been through, and it can take time. So if anybody feels like they might be going through that, you might need to take time. You might need to step away from certain things, and supplements, acupuncture, energy work. All of these things are very important to reestablish balance. Diet, food, right? Stay away from junk foods and things that lower your immune system. So all of that.
And that's just me being upfront and very transparent and kind of out there. And I've had people that are very supportive and caring, and a lot of people that aren't. Are you back to doing readings? When can I get a reading? Well, I'm not. Well, when do you think? Well, and it's like, listen, I do a lot of charity work too. I
Mhm.
donate a lot of readings. I do a lot of stuff, and people just don't get it. And that's not for me to explain to them. And people out there, spiritual maintenance is a thing. It's self-preservation and self-care and
Right.
self-love.
Right.
And I realized I needed to take that time to do some healing and focusing and re-emerging, right? Where down the line I come back and say, here I am, you
Right.
know. But it's okay. I've had a lot of support and a lot of love, and I'm thankful for that. I'm
Yes.
thankful. So yeah. Anyway, so we do have our first comment. Our dear friend Michael. Good afternoon, Richard and Papita. Nice to see you again. Big heart. Lots of love from
Um,
your friend Michael. He's always a good support and very, very nice. He always includes me in all the love. So I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you. Let's jump into universally speaking. Once we're done with this, we have an amazing guest. I'm super excited about not my wheelhouse, but I love to hear about this. I'm so beyond fascinated. Let's get into universally speaking, and then let's get our guest.
okay. So, universally speaking, one of the things I want to talk about today is this new transit that we are all going to be in. And this is Neptune, all right? And Neptune has moved into Aries. What does this mean? So, Neptune is a very psychic planet, it's a very spiritual planet, and it has been in Pisces for a long time. But Neptune in Pisces, spirituality, intuition, psychic energy in Pisces is like, we're all in a dream. We're all in a dream. Let's dream nice. Let's be, because Pisces can be very dreamy and not realistic. Well, that's all gone now. We have now taken this spiritual planet of Neptune and moved into Aries for the next 15 years. What will we see and what does this mean? There's going to be some very bold moves in terms of leadership because Aries is fire and Aries wants to move forward, and Aries is leadership, and Aries is strong, and Aries wants to get out of the dreamy and into the reality, the focus. Let's push forward, let's get it done, let's move forward. So we're going to see some big shifts in that. We're also going to see over the next 15 years huge shifts in awakening, spirituality, and the whole spiritual movement and community. Like the pace is going to quicken. So what that means is you had better be doing your internal work, because if spirituality and the whole concepts of the spiritual mind, right? The future is the mind, body, and soul. So if we're moving into a faster paced spirituality, if you're all bogged down with baggage from yesterday, you're going to struggle to keep up with it. So make sure you're doing your inner work. Just because something happened yesterday, a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, if you are not healed from it, it's a good time to start doing that, because this is going to be very rapid and very fast moving. We're going to see a lot of shifts personally and socially in the spiritual movement. So here's what we need, okay, to manage this over the next 15 years: a higher level of consciousness, okay? Get out of the media, get out of the lower form of consciousness. We need higher levels of consciousness. We need to start seeing life through a higher lens. Okay. Everything is happening in its right way. We have to see the bigger picture. We have to understand the bigger picture. I won't go into that now, but we have to understand exactly what's happening, why it's happening. And so if you're stuck in the everything's horrible, no, that's not such a good place to be. There's a higher picture unfolding, and Neptune in Aries is going to be changing a lot over the next 15 years, which finally leads us into the beginning of a cycle for the next 100 165 years.
Wow.
So this is massive. This is massive. Got to get on board.
Wow. 165 years. That's a lot.
We are at the beginning. The transit's only 15 years, but this transit is going to really, like I call it, it's even in my book, okay? My book. Read my book if you haven't read my book. This is the Great Awakening. This is the Great Awakening. And how do you prepare for the Great Awakening? You can't think yourself into a higher consciousness. You've got to become it. And you become it through doing your inner work, your shadow work, healing yourself, learning to love yourself, forgiveness, all of that. And what that really means.
All right. I don't know what happened there. Okay.
Do
Doing
we?
the shadow work, raising the vibration, staying in a higher frequency. And that means removing a lot of things or taking time for yourself and caring and loving about yourself. Doing these things that you need to do, not just sitting in the doom and gloom of shadow work, because it's hard work, but raising your day and your consciousness at every point. You know, cutting ties with things that no longer serve you or
Yes.
your highest and best. And that could be friends, family,
Yes.
living situations, jobs, whatever
Yes.
it is. Always honor yourself and do things that serve your highest and best. And if it's toxic and it doesn't, and it brings you down, or those things called energy vampires, cut them out of your life. They don't do it, and they're lowering your consciousness and your frequency.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we really need to do, I mean, I live my life like this now, but is to follow the higher self, follow the guidance of the higher self, of spirit, of God. That will always lead you to where you need to be. And so I know that that's going to be challenging for most people because people are used to controlling everything. And so when you release control and you surrender and you allow yourself to be guided, you're going to be guided into places that may be uncomfortable, that may be fabulous, but that's where we're headed.
Well, I know where we're headed. We're headed to have an amazing guest
We are.
on our show. So let's bring her in.
Yep.
And I'll let you introduce. I'm
Okay.
super excited. Everyone, you can actually call, like, leave a comment if you have a question for her, or you can also give us a call, 646 558 8656. I will leave the phone number in the comments.
Okay. So welcome, Diane. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. And thank you for having me. Richard, I'm glad you feel better.
Oh, thank you, Diane. Nice to meet you.
You
Yeah. What
also.
wonderful. I'm just going to introduce Diane Carbone and give our audience just a little info about her. So Diane has been studying astrology for since she was 17 years old. And she became very aware that the planets definitely have an influence in our lives. Okay, and learning and studying that, she has been able to help empower people, guide them, help them heal, and understand perhaps what choices they need to make based upon these transits and where these planets sit in their chart. And so this has been her journey of 50 years of helping others and herself through understanding the astrology, right? The good, sometimes the good transits, the bad ones. And when we have an understanding, that kind of gives us some empowerment. And she's been doing that, and she's done thousands of readings, and I'm one of them. And so her passion is to assist others in this personal growth experience using astrology. So welcome, Diane.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. So we're thank you so much for coming on. I know you're very busy. So we want to talk a little bit about like some general things that so people can truly understand what does their sun sign mean? What does their ascendant mean? What does their moon sign mean? Or and any other part of the astrology that you feel might, like their Venus, might be important for them to understand. And then we're going to get into the evolution of certain signs. And I'm going to have you read the evolution of mine. And Richard, you're not getting away clear. We're going to do the evolution of you too. And anyone else who is listening and would like it, just in the comments say I am what, just put what sign you are, and then Diane will give you your astrology evolution. Okay, so start with the basics.
Okay, so really the first three most important personality traits that a person has is their sun, their ascendant, and their moon. So your astrology chart is a snapshot of the universe at your exact moment of birth. And it reveals all of your unique talents, your challenges, and your opportunities. But you can gain so much by just knowing your sun sign.
Mm-hmm.
That is your soul. You know, so many times you hear people say, what is my purpose in life? Your sun, even by just knowing the sun sign, will give you guidance as to what your purpose in life is. The sun is who you know yourself to be. So whatever sign your sun is, that is like when you're talking to yourself, that is your inner voice. And that is, you can get so many, even if, because we are a compilation of a lot of planets and our ascendant and our moon. However, the sun will absolutely resonate. Some of the traits of your sun sign will absolutely resonate with you. Also good to know the element it's in: air, earth, fire, or water, because that is how you express that. That is the expression of the sign. The fire signs are very motivated, and they're like, go get them, passionate. The air signs are intellectual. The water signs are emotional. There's very concrete differences. And who did I forget? Oh yeah, the earth signs, they're very practical. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, very practical. So those four, it's important to know what element that your sign is in also. But the sun is who you know yourself to be. And that's important to know because your ascendant is your personality that you first show the world. So if you're a Capricorn and you're a very practical Capricorn, but you have Gemini rising, then you're going to meet people and your first impression is going to be extremely communicative, maybe a little scattered, but very, very explorative, wants to know all kinds of information, will ask you all about yourself. But then you'll get to know them and you'll realize how practical they are. And that doesn't really come out when you first meet them, when you meet the Gemini. So that's what your ascendant is, really what you show the world before you really show them your sun sign. So it's really important to know, because most of the time they're different. Now, if you find someone with the same sun and ascendant, they're pretty much exactly who they are when you meet them. But most people do have a different sun and ascendant. So you'll meet a personality, but then once you get to know them, you'll see a whole other side to them that you didn't even realize when you first met them, which is very good to know, because if you can help people get to know you by knowing your ascendant and realizing how you're expressing. And then maybe you can throw in, yeah, but I also, so they get to know your sun sign a little better. Your moon sign is your emotional connections. What I find fascinating about the moon sign is that you pick your mate, your partner, and most of your friends through your moon sign. And you can get that by going on the internet and doing a free natal chart, because the only thing that you won't know, if you know your exact time, the chart will be exact. But if you don't know the time, the moon, the sun, and all the planets are going to be where they were when you were born. So the moon is important because it's how you form emotional connections. You can be Capricorn, Gemini, and have a Leo moon. And so your connections will be more fiery, even though your ascendant and sun sign aren't in a fire sign. You'll resonate with Aries. You'll connect with Aries and Leo and what is the third? And Sagittarius. Absolutely. So you'll say, well, I'm a Capricorn. Why am I married to an Aries? But if your moon is in Aries, that's a beautiful connection with an Aries. It's going to supersede any challenges that you have with that Aries because you're emotionally connected.
That's
So
very fascinating. When I was younger, I was very attracted to Aries men, but then I grew up and I became mature, and unless he's a mature Aries man, the Capricorn can't handle it.
that's right. That's right. Because that's is what, there's aspect, but we won't get into that. But that is a square. So there's always a little bit of tension between Capricorn and Aries that you sort of have to really work to get over.
Yeah. Richard, do you have your chart with you, or I have your chart?
Oh, good. Because I have my book. I wanted to look Richard up, at least his moon sign.
I have no idea what my moon sign is. I have
What's your
it. I'm going to
birthday?
be, it's November 9th.
What year?
706.
Come on, November 9th.
It's 1976.
November 9th, 19. So let me be quick here. I have my Affirmus with me, 1976, November 9th. Here you are. So November 9th, 1976. So your moon is in Gemini. So there's a
Oh.
beautiful connection with you and Pauline. She's Gemini rising.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
no
go.
wonder why.
Absolutely, because now Scorpio and Capricorn do get along anyway. Beautiful friendship connection, but you both have a need to learn. Geminis are the ones that are always Googling everything. They have to know everything. They want to know. They're the information highway. So
That's me.
yeah, so that's a beautiful connection between you and Pauline because you're both very curious. So you can explore together, which is what you're doing. It's lovely. So
So,
now you know, Richard.
yes. Yes. Okay. So, all right. So that's very interesting. So then, um, so his moon is in Gemini. So then does he need to love on an intellectual basis, or does he look for the intellect or the communication issue?
Yes, he will definitely need a partner or friend who's also very communicative. Absolutely. Communication is his key. Your moon is very important. So he connects to people who communicate with him, and share information with him. And he will connect on an intellectual basis. He will always need a partner who can give him mental stimulation. He'll connect through mental stimulation. Like if he sits down next to someone and they have an awesome conversation, he really is going to want to get to know that person better.
Yeah, that's
That,
that's a big thing for me. That's a very big thing. We have a lot of comments coming in.
Woo. All right, let's
Uh
hear some of them.
all right,
Okay.
so let's dive in, Diane.
All right.
So we have Denise, she says Cappy here. So I'm assuming Capricorn,
Mhm.
which we just went through because of Pauline. And then we have Sheila, our old friend Sheila. So she said Leo Sun, Libra rising, Scorpio moon.
Okay.
Leo
So
sun, Libra rising, Scorpio moon.
So that is good to know because she knows her rising sign. Rising sign and ascendant are the same thing. That's a general thing I want to get across. They have two terms for it, but it's the exact same thing. And that is what we build our chart on. So, all right, let me write down what she was. So I got the Scorpio moon. She is a Leo or a Libra?
Libra rising.
Oh, rising. Okay. So her sun is in Leo and she
Yep.
has a Scorpio moon. So,
Yes.
okay. So we can say her sun is in her 11th house. So let's just go with the sun, moon, and ascendant. She's a Leo. So they are dramatic. They are a fire sign. Leo likes to be the center of attention. And they have a lot of pride. It's a very nice sign. They love to have fun. They're very creative. They're very dramatic. And so part of her purpose is to share her light. Leo is ruled by the sun. So all Leos are here to share their light. Now with Libra rising, That is going to put her sun in her 11th house. So she is a person of group activities, a lot of friends, a lot of social life. She loves events. And the Libra will give her a very intellectual bent because she's got an air sign rising. So, her Libra rising will also doesn't like confrontation, likes to be the moderator for peace. Libras, when there's too much chaos around them, their stomach hurts. So she needs a peaceful environment to shine in. And with her moon in Scorpio, that is going to make her a little more reserved. She will form connections, however, it will take her longer. Even with her beautiful Leo Libra, it's going to take her longer to form connections because Scorpios are guarded. They have to build huge trust before they will share their secrets with you or let you in. And that's very interesting too, to have any Scorpio in your chart, because that's a water sign. And so is Cancer and Pisces, but Cancer and Pisces will just express all their emotions to you the first time they meet you. But a Scorpio will not. I call it the Lady Gaga poker face, if you've ever heard that song, because you don't know what they have, all those emotions. They are a water sign, but they know how to guard them. And they're really not going to emotionally connect with you until they trust you. And you have to earn a Scorpio's trust.
Amen, sister.
Beautiful.
I love it.
I would love, you mentioned something just now, Diane. Okay, so Leo is here to shine their light.
Yes.
Could we kind of do all 12 signs real quick? What is Capricorn here? What is Aquarius here? But this
Absolutely.
is not the evolution of the sign yet, right?
I hear you. So we can, yes, very succinctly do that. Aries is here to lead and motivate. They are the leaders. There are also, there are modalities which are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So the cardinal signs are Aries and Libra and Capricorn and Cancer. There are leaders, they get things done. So, having said that, Aries is a fire sign. It's also a cardinal sign. So our Aries are doers. They start things. Taurus is really here for earthy things. That is agriculture, nature. They're ruled by Venus. So they're very peaceful. Taurus is here to be practical and to just, live a good life. Gemini is here for the thought process. That's where the air sign kicks in, and they're thinkers. They want to communicate. They want to learn as much as they possibly can. That's what they're here to do, is communicate. Cancer really gets into the water signs, so you start to emote, and Cancer rules motherhood, nurturing, family. So Cancers are really here to understand and bring everyone together emotionally. Leo is here to share their light. They are the actors, the actresses. They're very dramatic. They love to be on stage, but they also have a spiritual bent to them. They want to share their light in a spiritual way. They're very dramatic. But Leo is here to shine light on things. Virgo is here for the second phase of practicality. Virgo is here to serve. That is so important to get across, because Virgo rules service to others. They are our policemen. They are our firemen. They are our social workers, mostly in the health profession. I would love to do statistics on the health profession. I'm sure half of them have Virgo. So Libra is here to really think more than a Gemini, much more. Of course, we're a compilation of a lot of things. You got a Gemini with Libra rising, but Libra is here to take the intellectuality a little further and to bring peace. Libra does not like chaos, so they are here to sort of moderate. Scorpio is here to teach determination, to teach really close connections. Because like I said, they're a little guarded before they begin to trust you. But Scorpio is here also to get things done. They're doers. Sagittarius is here to sort of tell everybody else to lighten up a little bit. Sagittarians love to have fun. They're ruled by Jupiter. They're expansive. They have a nice confidence about them, and they're also very wise. You're getting into the later signs. So, Sagittarians are really here to bring people together and have fun in a lot of ways. Capricorn is here to get things done. They're very practical. They're usually right about everything, maddening because I don't have any Capricorn, but I do listen to them because they are the fixers. They'll fix everything. The only drawback is they try to, sometimes they have to learn what not to fix and to let people learn their own lessons. But Capricorn, and they are our workhorses. Capricorns, half of them are workaholics. So, they are here to practice, help us grow with practicality and getting things done. Aquarius is here to shake everybody up. Aquarians are the rebels of the zodiac, very humanitarian, but very intelligent. They're the very highest of the air signs. So I really think they're basically geniuses. They're visionary. They're the ones that can see the forest for the trees. And Pisces is here to really help everyone get through the human condition. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, but not the end of anything, because you start all over with Aries again. But the Pisces are really here to teach people that emotions are okay. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to just, feel bad when you feel bad, let it rain when it's raining, and understand and love yourself.
I love that. Was fabulous.
Thank you.
That was fantastic.
Good
Richard,
stuff.
that was great. What comments do we have on that?
Oh my gosh, we got a lot going on here. So,
Oh, Richard.
So here's one from Andrea. Hi, all. I have a question to regards to the astrology system. What are your thoughts on True Sky astrology? The system uses 13 months. That includes, what is that? Can't pronounce it. So yeah.
Well, I've never heard of it, so.
True Sky, 13 months. Okay. So Andrea, we'll get that answer for you. Let's say, so then we have Sag rising, Gemini moon.
Okay, well, that's interesting because they're solar, they're opposites. So, we have a 360-degree wheel, so anything 180 degrees separation is an opposition. So Sagittarians are the opposite of Gemini. And that was a Sag rising Gemini moon, which is very interesting. So the Sagittarian rising will present as a Sagittarian when you first meet them. Very confident, which will be interesting in a second. Very confident, very jovial, very smart. And then, but that is the rising sign. So that's how they project on a personality basis when you first meet them. But with the moon in Gemini, that actually puts their moon in their 7th house, makes marriage uber important for them because the 7th house, your house of marriage. But also is very telling that when you get to know them, you'll find out that they're not quite as confident as they first presented as. Gemini and Virgo are and they're both ruled by Mercury, and they question their confidence. They shouldn't, but they do. So this Sag rising with the Gemini moon will exude confidence, but deep down inside, wonder if they're really confident enough.
Interesting.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. We got a lot of the sun in Libra, Scorpio, rising in this, moon in Capricorn. So I don't know if you kind of want some of those questions, but we do have a comment from Michael. You hear that, Pauline? You're friends with a genius.
Yes, Miguel, I know. Yes, Miguel, I know you're a genius and I'm the Capricorn, so listen to what I tell you to do.
So Diane, who you read in the Sag rising Gemini moon, she said spot on explanation point. So good. There you go. The astrology, the moons, the constellations, they don't lie.
All
They
right.
don't lie.
Is there anybody else who wants to share their sun, moon, and rising, or doesn't know what it is, and Diane can check it and give them a quick little reading on it.
Great. So let's go in because we have some that posted. So let's do Cynthia, Sun in Libra / Scorpio, rising is Leo, moon in Capricorn. So Sun in Libra, rising is Leo, moon in Capricorn.
Okay, well, I just want to say first off that the sun is only in one place at any given moment. So she probably thinks she's a cusper because of the date. She probably thinks she's on the cusp of Libra and
She's
Scorpio.
on the cusp. I know her. She's
Okay,
always on the cusp.
but she is only one of those.
Got it.
You're only one sun sign depending on the moment, you know. So if you want to, if she can give you her date, I can tell you what sign, you know, she is. But
Hey, Cynthia, give me your date and we'll revisit this.
yeah,
So we do have Andrea. Cancer is sun. Aquarius is rising. Aries moon.
okay, well, there's a go-getter. So, okay, so we'll start with the Aquarius rising and what I said about when people first get to know you. And Andrea was the name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrea, you present as an Aquarius when people first meet you and when you're first in public. So you're very wise, very smart. Like I said, geniuses of the zodiac, very humanitarian. But when you first present, you don't present as warm as you really are, as you do not present emotionally, but you are very emotional. So the Aquarius will, you know, they'll want to talk intellectually and then, you know, and have all these visionary thoughts and great communicators. But then when you get to know them, they'll be a domestic, they'll be baking in the kitchen. And you'll be, why is it Aquarius baking in the kitchen? Well, it's because she's really a Cancer. And the Cancer is a water sign. That gives her a nice combination, by the way, because air signs need water, you know, for emotion. So, and also don't overthink because Aquarians have a terrible tendency to overthink and drive themselves crazy. And it's, you know, you never have to do that. But with an Aquarius ascendant, you may have very humanitarian bent, but you want a home life and you want a family. And with the moon in Aries, you're very much a go-getter. I like that because Aquarius needs Aries to get them moving. So the Aries will help you bring things, you know, do things. It'll help. Yes, I'm going to do that. Where Cancer might be too shy. Aquarius is also shy. They don't show it, but they are. But the Aries will help you get motivated. It'll make you do things. And so Aries is nice, really nice to have with an Aquarius ascendant. And also it's in the third house. So there's a big communicator, big communication, maybe a school teacher, moon's in the house of teaching. So something like that.
Beautiful.
I love it. You're getting people that you're reading spot on for everything. Andrea put yes with a big smiley face. So Diane, you're killing it. I love
Thanks,
it.
guys.
You're doing amazing. So
I
we
need
have
that.
so the one that said the Libra Scorpio cusp,
I
she
have her,
said
Cynthia.
yeah, so Cynthia is actually a Scorpio. She's I think beginning in November
Okay.
or late October, but she's a Scorpio. So we're gonna
Okay.
go let's see here.
What's the actual
Scorpio.
date? The month and the date, not the year, just the month and the date.
Cynthia, give me month and date. Month and date. I know it's November, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Um
she knows she's a Scorpio, so I'm assuming she knows she's, I don't know why she said Libra / Scorpio.
yeah, no idea. Um
If it's early November.
okay, so she's October 24th.
What year?
Cynthia, what year?
Oh, sorry.
I know she's exposing our ages.
Oh, well, that's okay. You're all younger than me. So
Yeah, my inner child identifies as 25.
And by the way, Geminis are young at heart. They always present as younger than they are.
Yeah. Let's see where we got. Okay, so she was born in 59.
Okay, so 10/24/59. I'll get there as quick as I can. I have 100 years in front of me, 150. So here we are, October 24th, 1959. So she is a Scorpio. She hit 0 degrees Scorpio. That was actually the day the sun switched into the sign of Scorpio. And she's actually, she says she has her moon in Capricorn, but this is showing Cancer, that her moon is in Cancer. If she is born on 10/24/59, she's a Scorpio with a Cancer moon. And she said she knows her rising is Leo. So the Leo rising is back to, dramatic, needs to share their light, very outgoing, a lot of fun. And also, that's how she presents. She's interesting because she'll present as a lot of fun. And then when you get to know her, she'll have a very reclusive side to her. She likes her alone time. She doesn't involve other people if she doesn't feel like, Scorpios can be very reclusive. So that's an interesting dynamic because on one hand, she's extremely exuberant and outgoing, and on the other hand, she's extremely reclusive you have to build her trust to get into her, inner circle, but she will not present like that. So that's very interesting. The Capricorn moon just it's very nice with the Scorpio. She's also a doer. This is a pretty dynamic trio here. The Scorpio with Leo rising and a Capricorn moon. But the Capricorn moon she'll be a hard worker no matter any of the three, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Capricorn. You have a hard worker. And her Capricorn moon with Leo rising, it'll be in her 6th house of health, service, and helping other people. This could be someone in the health profession, or in any service-oriented profession like police, fire. And the Capricorn will give her a lot of oomph. The Capricorn Scorpio is absolutely lovely. She'll just have to watch the Leo and try not to make things always about herself. Leos can be self-absorbed. And I'm a Leo, so I'm putting myself under the bus too. Leos need to learn to handle their pride and their ego and to put that outward.
Fantastic.
Stuff.
No, it's good stuff. It's not me. It's good
I
stuff.
know. I know it's good stuff though. I love this because like for me, astrology never resonated with me doing on my spiritual journey. I always focused on mediumship, connecting, energy work, things like that. But, meeting Pauline and kind of getting into this, it really all just makes sense,
It
everything
really does.
laid out. It does. It hits just different. I mean, it's like, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense.
And
It's like the
that's
key, the key or the explanation that you've been looking for. So I
That's why I
love it.
fell in love with it. I think of it as God's toolbox.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they're
it
tools.
definitely helps people know themselves.
That's the best thing you can
Yeah,
do,
it
Pauline.
helps you know yourself and kind of explains a little bit of why you might be this way or a little bit why you might be that way. At least now you have a reason why. And all the
That's
planets,
right.
the planets are shape,
Mhm.
shaping you in a way.
Yes, and if you know the negative, we all want to be the best versions of ourselves. So if you know the negative keywords for the signs, you can work on yourself.
Right,
But I always tell people if I took a video of you all day and showed it to you the next day, you'd surprise yourself.
right.
And wow, I did that, I said that, so astrology, and that was one of my quests to get to know me, like, and try to be the best version of myself. Moon in the 8th house, have to have a life of transcendence and astrology. And that's what happened, Richard. I didn't, I'm reading and I'm observing people and I'm saying, wow, there is something to this. And the more I got into it, the more validating it became. And I'm not a medium, I'm not a psychic, so I need a practical, I have Jupiter and Virgo, so I need a practical schematic to look at. and astrology, and then it's going into the spiritual side of it. It's a fantastic thing to just get to know yourself and to listen, to get to know other people. If an Aries is yelling, instead of saying, oh, I don't like her, she's a yeller, you say, well, she's an Aries, that's the way she expresses herself. And so it gets rid of a lot of um, reasons where we don't want to be with other people because we don't understand them.
Right. So she said something, Diane, you said something very interesting. So is there, and Richard, you might like this too. Sorry, we had Athena just walk
I
through.
like the kitty.
Athena needed to make herself known.
Is she a Leo?
She might be a Leo. I've got another cat that is a Leo, and boy, she needs all the attention.
Oh yeah.
But Diane mentioned like each sign sort of has a like a negative or a shadow, one, like, can you go through the signs like one word? I think like Capricorn, like my word could be watch out for being judgmental. Run through the signs and just give us like one shadow word of each sign.
Okay, well, I would say Aries, learn to harness your anger. Very important because Aries is ruled by Mars, so they tend to get red in the face and they get mad, and learn to harness your anger because they really are here to learn patience. But Aries, I'd say that would be it, to learn to harness your impulsiveness, your aggressiveness, and learn to harness that. For Taurus, it would be to learn to express themselves more. They're very practical, down to earth people, but they have a hard time sharing. A Taurus, they're no man is an island, but they can think they are. So for Taurus, it would be, learn how to express and communicate better. For Gemini, it would be learn how to get in touch with your emotions and also to learn self-confidence. Something that has always fascinated me with Gemini is they do have a lack of self-confidence, and I haven't pinpointed why yet. But Geminis, I would say, trust yourself. Don't be afraid to go for what you want. For Cancer, I guess, negative traits of Cancer is they're moody, and they're too sensitive. So they have to learn how to let things roll off their back a little more. For Leo, it would be the pride, and everything's about me, 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 so Leos have to learn to try to turn that around to go outward for other people, especially a young Leo they will think the world revolves around them, and I was like that when I was young, but Leo needs to learn actually how to collaborate and to live with the masses and to realize it's about all of us. For Virgo, it is criticism. The earth signs can be critical. So Taurus will be quiet about it. Virgo, not so quiet. And the judgmental thing you were talking about, Pauline, that's the earth. Capricorn is the higher evolution of Virgo. So Virgos need to learn to be a little less critical of others and to find empathy. For Libra, it really is not to overthink. Libras can drive themselves crazy thinking about things, the way things are going to pan out. And I can tell you from experience that 95% of what we think is going to happen doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen the way we think it's going to happen. So if Libras can find them, they need a peaceful environment, find peace, and not speculate, I guess. For Scorpio, it would be to be more vulnerable. Scorpios have that wall and they won't tell you their secrets until they trust you. However, they can miss out on a lot of connections because they are so guarded. If they can show a little more vulnerability. For Sagittarians, it would be to actually get more practical because Sagittarius is before Capricorn. So Sagittarians they always find their careers later in life because they just want to party and they're wonderful people, great people, very wise. But for Sagittarians, it would really be to learn how to get things done and stick with something. For Capricorn, it is try to be not as judgmental. Don't work so hard and don't try to fix everybody. Figure out, because you take away from yourself sometimes when you don't delegate. Capricorns need to learn how to delegate. For Aquarius, they need to learn how to be more understanding and find an emotional connection with people, because they're so intellectual. However, they can sort of miss things emotionally in other people. They'll tell you, hey, look, it's like this, it's not like that. But, they need to find a better way to deal with people with emotion, And for Pisces, it's really just do not take on the world's problems. Pisces are so sensitive that they just, they have to learn how to understand a human condition without feeling a human condition if it doesn't pertain to them.
Perfect. What do
Good.
we got, Richard? That was amazing,
Oh my
Diane.
gosh, I'm trying to keep up here. Michael, all right, Pauline, give her our birthdays and let's see what Diane has to say about our connection. Here's Michael. Okay, so we have here, and this is a good one because this is one of our listeners. Her name is Paula. She goes, I don't know what I am. She gives her date of birth and
What
her
is it?
time.
Well, the date, I'll do the date. The time I would have to calculate with the
No
chart, but
problem. So it's January 16th, 1965. And this is Carla,
oh, Carla?
one of our followers.
Okay, not Paula, Carla.
Carla.
Okay, 1/16/65. Oh, good, I'm close. Yeah. January 16th, 1965. So this is a Capricorn, of course, January 26th. Carla, you are a Capricorn with a Cancer moon. So there's another opposition. Capricorn and Cancer are opposites. So a Capricorn sun, you're a doer, you're a fixer. You just make everything good. You just have to realize if someone doesn't want to get fixed, don't try to fix them. You can give them good guidance, but they may not listen to everything you say. But also very nice because Capricorn's an earth sign and Cancer is your moon is in Cancer, Carla. Your Capricorn sun with moon in Cancer. There is another person that marriage is unbelievably important to. Work and marriage. There you go, Carla. That's it for you. And, I'd have to do a calculation for the ascendant. So, but that is a very good combination because you need your opposite sign. They opposites attract and then they repel. But so you'll be very attracted to your opposite sign, but then you'll say, oh, wait, I'm nothing like them. But what you want to do is you're nothing like them because you need to learn from them. A Cancer can be too moody. A Capricorn's not really moody. So stop being moody and get it done, the Capricorn says, and vice versa. The Capricorn could be a workaholic and a Cancer will say, no, 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 come spend the night with the family. You got to get the yin yang going, the balance.
Fantastic.
I love it. I love
It's
it.
fascinating stuff.
It really is. And we can keep going because there's so many here. So do you want to do one quick one?
Sure.
Okay, so we have Patty, August 25th, 1972.
8/25/72. Okay, Patty. Oh, I'm getting lucky with my affirmers. Okay. So 8/25/72. All right. So on August 25th, 1972, the moon is in Virgo. 2 degrees Virgo, Patty, the sun, forgive me, Patty, your sun is at 2 degrees Virgo. So you are a person of service. Virgos are so service oriented, great in the health profession. Need to learn how to not be so critical, perfectionists. And what I want to say to you, Patty, is life isn't perfect. We only learn from the imperfections. If life was perfect, we'd be bored. So don't be so hard on yourself. but your beautiful moon is in Pisces, and that's going to help. Another opposite. I mean, Virgo and Pisces are opposite. Marriage, very important to you, Patty, and that's your Achilles heel. You're a strong, practical Virgo, but boy, when it comes to marriage and partnership and committed relationships, that is where all your emotion is. So be very discerning with your partners there, Patty. Even though you have beautiful Virgo, which makes you, a doer and a very practical person, that Pisces is going to take you into the fantasy world when it comes to relationships. So keep it down to earth when you form relationships. You really want someone emotional, but you want someone, you're going to need a practical partner. But you'll probably, and you don't want to be, when you find a partner, you don't want to be anybody's psychologist. You don't want to help them get out of the gutter. You want to find a peer. So I would say to you, the best thing I could say to you, Patty, is be very discerning in your relationships and get what you deserve.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Just fantastic. All right, I'm going to ask one little selfish question with Leo Moon. Okay, Leo Moon. Okay, what's my best partner?
Okay. And I just happen to know you have Gemini rising.
Yeah.
So, and I did your chart. So your ideal partner would be, and you listen, you get a lot because your Earth with the Capricorn, your air with the Gemini, and your moon is in Leo, so you're fire. So I would say, you know, someone you need mental stimulation. So someone who can communicate well, but also has your work ethic, but the perfect balance of fun too, because your Leo moon, you like events, you like social events, you like to go out and have a good time. But you do have a practical side to you. So, actually you get a lot of choices. A Virgo would be good. Aries not so good only because the Capricorn, it's good with the Leo moon, but it's going to end up, your sun is Capricorn. So if you're with an Aries, that's going to be a little bit of a stress, a little bit of a big challenge to get over, and relationships shouldn't be that hard. Ideally for you, another Leo, maybe with Virgo rising, or an air sign, a Sagittarius would be fine for you. If they're evolved enough to have the Capricorn work ethic,
Yeah.
you might find them like, not having that ethic would bother you, not practical enough. Just and even you know what, I would go take a little stretch and say a Libra would probably be nice for you also. They drive you a little bit crazy because they can't make their mind up all the time, but you can guide them. They're willing to take guidance, and that would be a really nice connection for you too. What is your partner, may I ask?
Thank you. No, I don't have one.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, there's not a Leo moon out there that doesn't have people waiting for him. So that's not going to last long, Pauline. Leo women, they always have suitors, just always. It's probably your choice not to have one.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Richard, anything else on the comment side there? And Diane needs to tell people where she can be reached.
Oh, well, we could keep going, but if you're interested in booking a reading, or talking to Diane, she's going to give you your information. I highly recommend you do that because she's given a lot of clarity, to what, everything that we've heard today, and insight. So if you're looking, Diane, how can our viewers, get a hold of you? And, do you do readings via Zoom, in person, any
Well,
events, social media? Tell us about yourself. We need you,
well,
Diane.
I am a Cancer, and a Pisces moon. So what I do is one-on-one readings, and I do them mostly from my home. We can do Zoom, we can do Facebook video. I've done it. And most of them I do over the phone, and I can you can record it. So the best thing to do is text me. I mean, and I can give you my phone number. I'm happy to do that. It's 609-304 5621. And basically the best way is to text me. I'll ask for your birth information and then we'll set up an appointment. I charge $50. This is not a moneymaker for me. It's my passion. And really that is the best way to get a reading is just text me and I'll get back to you and we'll set something up.
And
All
I would
right. Well,
ask
for everybody, I just put her phone number in the comments to text Diane to schedule a reading.
yeah, and if you are texting her because you found her here, make sure that you mention you saw her with Richard and Pauline on the podcast, just so she knows who's coming, who's contacting her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. And I want to say that you guys, thank you so much for being open to this, for the wisdom you share through your podcast. You guys are shining your light.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Diane. It was really a pleasure having you. Thank you for
I'm so glad. I was nervous.
Oh my gosh, don't be nervous. It's just you and I, Diane. It's just
Thank you,
us.
Richard.
That's just us. Friends, old friends. Our souls haven't met in this life, but it's okay. We're old friends.
Old
Thank
friend.
you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Aw.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did. I always find this fascinating. It is not my wheelhouse, but I love it and appreciate it. Sheila said, thank you. Great show today. So thank you, Diane. Thank you, everybody that commented. We really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And Diane, are you on social media?
Actually, I am on Facebook, but I haven't been on for a couple of years because I got hacked a couple times, and I was like, oh, it was trouble to get hacked, and so I'm really, I have an email. I can be emailed if you want that.
Yeah, give us your email. What is your email?
Sure, it's tomfoolery, TOMFOOLERY 3 at TWC.com. TWC for TimeWarnerCable.com. And yes, you can also email me. And that is the extent, really. I don't have a website. I'm going to work feverishly to get back on Facebook. So I will be connecting to Facebook very shortly. And I do have a profile on Facebook, Diane Carbone.
Yeah, you do. I
So
friend
once I connect, I've been trying to get on. I've had a little trouble, but I haven't given it really the attention I could. So I'll be on there soon also.
Well, our viewers would love that. I did share your phone number and your email, tomfoolery 3 at TWC, TimeWarnerCable.com. So please reach out to Diane. I know she will, you will enjoy your reading and experience with her because we have.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Everybody
much.
be well until we see you next time.
Everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much. Much love. Much love.
Much love.